Hi Flosstube, I'm Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch, my channel about cross stitching, and sometimes I throw in a little bit of quilting and some other crafts that I may do. Welcome. If you're new, I hope you stay and watch the video and see if there's anything that might interest you. And if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. You're always welcome here. And to my returning viewers, thank you very much for coming back all the time when I make a video. I really appreciate it. Whether you make a comment or you don't. I know a lot of people say, but I watch, but I don't make comments. That's fine. I'm glad you do watch. And then when we have the opportunity, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, to talk to each other, fabulous. So thank you. Anyway, let's get right into it. I have piles of stuff here to share with you and tell you how I did on my BRR-INGO, the first time I participated in the Magazine Monthly Challenge group, and WIPGO, and the Acrostics, and babysitting, and more babysitting. If you're new, I have 4 grandchildren. One set of twins arrived in November. So this week has been very busy with babysitting and sleepovers. Yeah, Gianna slept over Thursday night into Friday. Caleb came over on Saturday, yesterday, and it was a blast. It's always great to see them. Anyway, so what have I been up to? Okay, questions and updates. There was only really one question, and somebody asked about, I had mentioned, I showed a scarf that in my last video that I had knitted, and they asked me about showing some other scarves that I knitted. So I've gotten some together, but I'm going to save all the knitting to the very end. I pulled out some sweaters and I pulled out some scarves that I hope you'd like to see. So the other thing I want to say is I've been watching other floss tubers, and they've been putting out a message on their YouTube channels, and basically it's about scammers. Somebody makes up, I guess, a Facebook, a YouTube name, and like they might take mine, let's say, and say Once Upon a Stitch, and they might reply to a comment that you made on my comment saying you won and to click on this link. Don't click on any links. Don't respond to them. I've decided moving forward, I am not going to comment on your comments. If you put in to win one of the giveaways that I offer, it's going to be up to you then to catch the next video where I will announce the winners. And if it is you, then it's going to be your responsibility to contact me via my email or message me on Instagram. This way we can not have you clicking on any links that might be compromising to your computer or phone in any way. So that's how we'll do moving forward. I will announce your name, and then it'll be up to you to contact me, and you'll have till the next video. If I don't hear from you, which is usually about 2 weeks. So if I don't hear from you within those 2 weeks, I will select another person to win the giveaway. Okay. What else did I want to tell you? That's about it. It's been busy. And just like everybody else, you know, life, what we have to do. So let's get right on to the stitching. What have we been working on? I just want to show you my January calendar so far. I didn't put too many stickers, but I put in fish. And the reason I put in fish is because January has been a very rainy, cloudy month here in New Jersey. I mean, some days it starts out in the morning, sunshine, and then by 10, 11 o'clock, cloudy. And cloudy the rest of the day. And then on the rainy days, it's cloudy all day. So I put fish in for January. And I marked out all the BRR-INGO numbers that I participated in and acrostics. So I kept my calendar up to date. So that's the first thing I'll show you. I'll show you 2 previous finishes. The first one I did in 2018, and it was a waxing moon design, and it's called Windy Day. And that was my first flat fold. And I haven't done a flat fold since, and I don't know why, because it wasn't that difficult. Actually, I have so many things to finish that I'm going to just put it out there that I'm going to try and get some done by our next time we're together so that I can share them, but it puts a little bit of pressure on me to try and get it done. And then the second one I did in 2019, and that's a Romy's Creation Winter House scissor case. So the pattern is 3D. You stitch the doors separate, and I put in my son's dog's name, Ozzy, and the magnet came with the snowman. The magnet here came with the snowman magnet, and you had to make sure that when you put it on the inside of this, that the polar attracted instead of, was it repelled, and it wouldn't, then it won't stick on it. So I had to be careful of that. And they tell you to hand stitch the door on, but I went on my machine and I did a hem stitch, and I attached the door that way, and then the scissors just goes right in there. And this was also a flat fold with like a roof finish. So, well, I guess I did 2 flat folds. Those are the only 2 that I did. So those are my previous finishes. I had no new finishes for this month, but like I said, I have a lot that I need to get done because the pile is just growing and growing. So now I'm going to show you everything that I stitched on. Now, BRR-INGO, you can set your own goal, but technically, it's 100 stitches or 1 hour. So I chose to do the 1 hour. And most of these I did one day, if not 2. And if something was put in for, from the way I stitch, what I should have done is not put something on the list more than 2 times, because I usually stitch on it 2 days for a 2-day rotation. And then it would have worked out perfectly. But because I had some things down as 3 days, I don't think I had any 4s. I think I had 3 days. Sometimes maybe once or twice I stitched the 3rd day, but usually I just stitch that 1 hour and then I pick something else up and stitch on it to finish the day off. So the first thing, since my last video was number 18 BRR-INGO call, and that what reminds you of where you live. And I selected Winter in the Village because in New Jersey there are a lot of quaint towns that have like little stores along the way like that, and that reminds me of that I live in the state of New Jersey and it has these stores. So that was my BRR-INGO call. And then on WIPGO, my goal for the year is to complete 2 of the houses. So since you've last seen it, I mean, this was stitched. There's no outlining in here yet, and just part of this window. So I stitched up the house. And on the 24-hour acrostic for the letter D, for the word unplanned, I used D for this and said that the house has a door. So this is Winter in the Village, and I started in this corner here, and this is the school, and I'm working in that direction. I will not be putting in the words or that bottom section. I'm just putting in the 2 rows of sidewalk. So that was my first one. Okay, I have to put everything back so that it doesn't get lost. The next one was number 11, stitch something with an animal, and the acrostic for the magazine monthly challenge was the word begin, and I used G for opening gambit. And this was on my BRR-INGO board 3 times. So let's see, I'll have to stand up for this one. So basically I worked in, I guess for the whole challenge, I worked down this section here, and the word I told you in the last video, the word U for, I was stitching under the castle. So I stitched under here. Then I brought this one down. It's another candle. The wicks are not on them yet. And then on the third call, I connected the two pages. I had most of the horse done with the knight, and then I completed the knight and came down this way. So that's what I've accomplished. And for WIPGO, it was not called yet. No, it wasn't called yet, but it's to finish 4 pages. So I'm working on page 5 and 6, and then I have 3 more left. So I think I might be able to finish this year. So I'm looking forward to possibly, I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on the 4 pages, but I stitch on this every month. So I might finish the 4 pages, I don't know, maybe by July, and then I only have 2 pages left. So there is a possibility I might finish it. The next one was number 3, the largest whip. Number 9, it was on the board 3 times also. The first one, the first number it was called was in the first half of January. So the second 2 it was called was number 3, the largest whip, and number 9, the whip you dread. And for me, it was His Eye is on the Sparrow, and I explained that I have a hard time reading the symbols on the pattern. And so, what have I stitched? I've put in this flower. I had to finish that before I went on, and then I stitched underneath, because one time I did this flower, or was it this flower that I did, and then came down here and put the deer and this flower set of leaves in, and then I started this. This was in, I started that one. So in the 3 prompts, that's what I did, and on the 3rd prompt, I did this leaf, and I just did the outlining because I was planning on just doing an hour's worth and working on something else, because I only want to stitch on something 2 days, really, because I don't want to, I don't know, that's my thing. I just don't want to get tired of it. So this is His Eye is on the Sparrow in all its glory. I mean, I think it's beautiful, but I struggle with it, and I struggle with the pattern, not the fabric. The fabric is fabulous. It's Heritage, 28 count Heritage Lugana. It's very heavy. So, and then I had it for an acrostic. Did I? Yes. It was for angel. There's an angel in the pattern. I found out that as long as the letter is in the pattern, doesn't mean you have to stitch on that particular motif at the time, but as long as it's in the pattern. The next one I picked up, it was for the acrostic in the monthly magazine challenge, and it was for the letter E in begin, and that was for be exceedingly diligent. And the same E in the unplanned for the January acrostic for 24 hours cross stitch was be exceedingly diligent as well. So I picked this up, and I've completed the alphabet that I was started, which is from, I believe, L. I had done K, I think it was L on, and maybe W on, and then I started this motif. So this will be the length of it. I didn't give myself very much room here for putting it in a frame, but since I frame it myself, it'll be fine. I just wanted to make sure I had enough room. So I'm doing all that work now, but I have so much great stuff to look forward to. I have all this to look forward to. So I'm glad that I worked in this direction so that I will so enjoy doing that part of it. So that was the acrostic for both challenges with the E. And then this was on also, this is number 15, stitch on a series, and I'm trying to find the pattern in here. And then stitch, let's see, number 15, part of a series, and then 16, something that has a flower or a tree. So this is the series that I'm working on, Fall Festival, that was gifted to me by my friend Kelly. And I was working on, just started this block, so I'm still working on it. And this is how far I've gotten. And this is on a 28 count Desert Khaki Lugana. It's a big piece of fabric, and I'm getting close for you to see. So this is the block that I'm working on. So I have all the leaves to put on up here. I have to finish the tree and the leaves and some flowers, and then the flowers down here. So in the next, and then I have one more, which is another house, and then I'll be finished with this. So my goal for WIPGO, which this was called, what's this called? No, why do I think it's called? Well, it's on there for a finish, so it wasn't called yet. So maybe I'll finish it before it gets called. And this is being stitched with the call for floss that is supplied with the pattern, and they're silks. So I have, let's see, where's the last house? Here it is. So this is the last house to be stitched. And then I can't show you the whole thing, but there's the colors. And they are Belsois silks. So it's really nice. I just have to be careful with my hands catching the thread sometime, because then it causes a knot, which is not fun. And we want to have fun all the time. The next one, I put notes on these so that I don't have to keep reading all over from what they're, you know, what they were part of. It was part of BRR-INGO, or if it was part of the acrostic. So this was number 3 in BRR-INGO, and it was something you do outside. Well, I look at this as my flower garden. So that's what I would do outside. I would plant flowers. And the WIPGO goal on this is 6 flowers. 6 flowers meaning not just 1, 2, 3. It's 6 blocks. So this one was completed. So this time I completed this one, and I just started this. So this will count as 1 flower. This will count as, like, once I finish it, it'll 2, and then maybe, you know, depending which direction I go, it could be 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. I'd like to get at least 6 done in this. But I only worked on it one day, so I did not post it on Instagram yet. I'm going to pick it up again in February. Our February group has a challenge of stitch on something with flowers for 200 stitches. But I will be stitching on it for 2 days, and then I'll get some significant progress on this. So probably in the next video you'll see this again, because I'll probably stitch this in the beginning of the month to meet that challenge. And yeah, and then I will post it on Instagram as well and hashtag it to back to the, what was it? I forget it now. Back to the Flea Market South, I think it was called. I'm doing that with Lindsay from Blushing Pink Stitches. If you don't watch her, you should give her a try because she does some amazing stitching, full coverage, just beautiful. And then she does those cutesy things too for her daughter. I just love it all. Okay, the next one was, okay, this hit a lot of things. This was my oldest whip for the BRR-INGO, number 2. The Acrostic in Begin, B, for Buckleberry Sampler. And for the 24-hour of cross stitch, it covered the word N because it has numbers in it. And I was stitching the numbers in the actual part. So this is the sampler. And like everybody says, this does not do it justice because I just love this. And I stitched in this section. I have to still stitch the 6 down here. The cup is covering it, but I have a 6 that I have to finish. And then I have to finish this motif and this one here. And then I'm done. This has really been, even though it has some confetti heavy sections, I just loved it. And I still do love it. So I stitched in this corner and I stitched 2, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And then I started this motif. So this will mimic this one here. Oh, and this one, there are 3 the same actually. And then this one goes also in here. And then the number 6. And then I will be done. Look at this glorious sampler. I really have to get back to get it all in this frame of the camera. I just love this. I didn't realize it was going to be this big. I'm still a novice when it comes to, even though like I'll read something and I'll say, I don't know, 27 by 30 or, well, not that, but like 16 by 24. So I'll get the fabric large enough to fit a piece that finishes that, but it doesn't dawn on me 16 by 24 when I'm visually stitching it until I'm got to a distance. Like, this is a large pattern. So this I will definitely be picking up in February. So February I should have a couple of finishes. Fingers crossed. Fully finishes and finishes. Stay tuned. Okay, the next one was number 24 for BRR-INGO, and that was something you do inside. And I choose to make lemonade inside. And this is from Primrose Cottage, and I stitched this on a 14 count white Aida. And here it is. Squeeze the day. I think this is so cute. So I have, I think, 3 of these Primrose Cottage to finish now. So I'm hoping the next time we're together, even in between all the babysitting, maybe when they're sleeping, I can sew. Then the next one was my smallest whip. And that was for BRR-INGO, and that was number 4, smallest whip. And I selected the Prairie Schooler Prairie Birds. And I started this at the New Jersey retreat last July. It was the end of July. And I started this one right here. And all I had was like the branch that came up and 1 twig that went out. And I also counted this for 24 hours for the L in Unplanned for the lovebirds. That's what I chose to call these birds, because there are 2 birds in here and they're in love and they live in this little house. So that's how I made it work. And I stitched this on an 18 count platinum Aida. how cute. All call for DMC. So I got that done. Then this actually was for 3 prompts in BRR-INGO. The first one was in the first half of January, and then the second call was number 20, stitch on something sparkly, and then number 21, something that reminds you of a holiday. So I picked up the Mill Hill kit, Rocking Reindeer, because this reminded me of Christmas. And it's sparkly because it will have beads on it. And this was on there 3 times. I don't know. When I see people stitch on Mill Hill kits, I love them. I love what they look like. I love they're on perforated paper. So then I buy them and I start stitching on it, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really enjoying this. 3 threads, it seems kind of tight, but that's what it calls for, so I did it. I didn't do any of the beading yet. I didn't finish all the stitching, but I'm just seeing like the best way to show you this. I think the white background might be better. And I use this for an N in Unplanned for the rocking horse is under the night sky. And if you look at the picture, there's some stars in there. So I'm saying it's the night sky. And, you know, I have not finished this. And I feel like I have a lot to do, though it's. And this one I was like, maybe on the days when I'm babysitting and the end of the day when I'm tired and I really want to stitch, but I can't because I'm tired, I picked that up when it was cold. And it so happened those were the days that I was tired. So I didn't get as much as I thought I'd get done. I thought with 3 pulls I would finish it, but didn't happen. Then the next one I picked up was, looking for the picture, the New England Sampler by Brenda Keyes and the Sampler Company. And this was for the Acrostic N for the New England Sampler for the Magazine Monthly Challenge. And let's see, did I put this? Yep. And then N for New England Sampler. So for the 24-hour of Acrostic. And with the Magazine Monthly Challenge, you had to take a picture before and then, you know, work on it for your hour and then take a picture and post it. Well, of course, like I said, I do it for the day and then I post it. So I realized I hadn't taken a picture when I first put it in the Q-Snap. So I had to stop, take the picture, and then move the Q-Snap to the other side to get the other side done because I ran out of room here, or I wanted to start back here. So I stitched this guy and part of the tree when I realized I didn't take a picture. So then I took a picture and then I finished the tree, the rabbit, and the ground below. Then I came to this side and I started the alphabet across again. So this is, oh, and then I just realized, seeing the bottom, I worked down the side. I brought the side down, turned the corner, and then I did the bottom here, which, let's see if I can get in real close, is here. And I did the grass, and I just started the tree. And so I put in, I think this was a 2-day. Because I had finished, I think BRR-INGO was finished. And so I put the 2 days into this, and that's how far I've gotten. So I got to the bottom, and I still have a nice piece of fabric below, at least for some ornaments. And this is stitched on a 28 count golden tan Lugana. And I really love those houses. Oh. But it's not a finish for this year. But I do love working on it. And then finally, what I worked on, this is when Gianna slept over, and she went to bed later than normal at Grandma's. So anyway, it was like 9 o'clock. By the time we went upstairs and I put her down, it was like only 9:15. She went down pretty quickly. I didn't feel like stitching. So one day I didn't stitch, but then the next day she went home around 5-ish, and I did a little bit of stitching on this one. This is Little House, oh, let me show you the pattern. Little House Needlework Season Greetings. My friend Alva gave me that. And I also started this at the New Jersey retreat. And this is on an 18 count country mocha. No, yeah, vintage country mocha or country mocha. I don't know. So I guess that day I just had a little bit of the border done for the hour, because it was like stitch 6 in 6 hours at the retreat, and that's when I started this. So I still have I'm gonna have to finish the trees and the leaves on it, some snowflakes and hearts around it. So this is where it's at. I even left my needle right in there in a stitch. I don't usually do that. Oh, I know what I was doing. At the end, I was trying to stitch in hand. That's why I have this little magnet here holding the fabric. It was okay, but I don't know. I don't like 18 count as much as I like 16 count or 14 count. 14 count is a dream. Okay, so that's all the stitching that I had done. And now okay, my plans for February. Oh, so let's just finish up January. So this was the 24 hours acrostic of unplanned. So I hit all of them. This was the Magazine Monthly Challenge acrostic, Begin. I had 3 hours for that. That was my goal. And then the BRR-INGO board, I hit all 12, 5 up and down, 5 across, and then 2 diagonal. 12 BRR-INGOs, I guess. And then for WIPGO for January, it was His Eye is on the Sparrow, number 10 and number 6. Winter in the Village. My goal is to complete 2 houses, and this is to put in 24 hours, and I put in 8 so far in the 3 prompts that I worked on it. I put in 8 hours. So the next numbers for February, which I'll be working on, is Flea Market Flowers, and that's to complete 6 boxes of flowers for the year. And the other number was 11, Welcome Friends, which I did not work on this month. Maybe I'll pick it up tomorrow. Nah, it's too close then. I don't know. I'll have to figure out. We have 2 more days. What am I working on downstairs? I don't remember. Oh, I know. I put it on my calendar. Where's my calendar? Kringles, that's what I'm working on. Today's the 2nd day that I'll be working on Kringles, so I'll show you that in my next video. And then actually there's 2 days left in January, Monday and Tuesday, so I will pick something and then share it with you in my next video. And then February I'll go into Flea Market Flowers and Welcome Friends. And then also in February, the 24-hour acrostic doesn't get usually put into the group until the day before. So I tentatively wrote up a plan of what I'd like to stitch on in February. If I can make it work, great. If I can't, maybe I might be willing to switch 1 or 2 projects to make it work. And then for the Magazine Monthly Challenge acrostic, the word is wave. the theme is beach if you want to stitch something from a magazine. And then the word wave. And so for W, I have welcome friends. For A, I have autumn. For V, I have calendar crates, and that's the vines that I have to stitch down the side to work on it. And E, I left open. I would like it to be for Elizabeth or be exceedingly diligent. And I haven't decided because I'm leaving it open to see if I need it for the acrostic for the 24 hours. And then my monthly group, February, is to stitch on something with flowers as well. So flea market flowers will take care of that. Okay, now before I show you my knitting, I want to do a giveaway. And I don't do them all the time, but like I said, you have to watch my channel so you'll hear your name called, so we don't have any spammers. Do not say giveaway in case they search for that word. So the first one is from Lindy Stitches. It's a brand new pattern. My friend Alva gave it to me, and it says, it's called Love Beyond Degree. And I'll read you what it says. First, I'll show you it. It's basically words and some border. And it says, was it for crimes that I had done, he groaned upon the tree? Amazing pity, grace unknown, and love beyond degree. And she wrote her name, Stephanie Webb, loved lavishly. I believe this part is done over one. And it says, I just want to give you the text because I had no idea what this was about. But it says, the text is a hymn by Isaac Watts entitled, Alas, and Did My Savior Bleed, written in 1707. I charted the first verse in the pattern with the same title. I love these projects because they provide time to slow down and meditate on the gospel. I did not open this to see if this is done 1 over 1 or not for sure. You can leave it out if it is and you don't want to stitch over 1. But this is number 1 for the giveaway. Number 2 is, I loved it so much, I bought it twice. Lori Holt's Bee in My Bonnet stitch card. They have a set K. And as you can see, it's a car, a plane, a boat, and a train. Just see if it tells you what the stitch count is. 32 by 32. So this will be nice on a 14 count, or tiny if you like tiny. That will be number 2. Number 3 is from New York Dreamer, and it's Life Begins with Coffee. I had finished this, and I'm giving it away. It's like a brand new chart. There's no marks on it, and you'll have to, if you like this mounting, you'll have to purchase it yourself. I'm just giving you the pattern for this. And I'm also including what I used as the template for it. Even if you want to finish it as a coffee cup and just mount it on some kind of board, if you can't find it, maybe she tells you where to find it inside here. But I bought mine at my local needlework store. So, so this is number 3, and it's just the pattern with the template. You don't want the template, you can throw it out, or if you want to share the pattern after that, if you want to leave it in for someone else. So those are the 3 giveaways, and the question that I'd like you to answer. It's funny because when I was getting the giveaways ready, I was saying, okay, 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm like, oh, the questions. So I went to take the list out that I had asked a while ago to all my viewers. What would you, I keep hitting the table and I keep shaking, I'm sorry. What would you like to ask of my viewers? And they said, well, they gave me I have a lot of questions to go through. But the one I chose for this session is, what time of day do you like stitching the most? For me, it's the afternoon. I don't get much time in the afternoon. If I had to just stitch on the afternoon, there'd be certain days I wouldn't stitch at all. I get most of my stitching done at night in the evening, like from 7 to 10. But my favorite time is the afternoon. The lighting is good. It just relaxes me, and I just love it. And that's a good day, but I don't get many of those. Sometimes when the children are sleeping, I'll try and get in a little bit. But so just comment. You must be 18 years of age so that you can give me your address. You have to be able to know how to contact me, whether it be email or message on Instagram. And don't say giveaway, please. This way we keep the spammers away, and it's all for my viewers. Okay, that's it for all the cross stitching. Now I'm going to show you some of my knitting, and I know a lot of you are just here for a cross stitching, so if you're leaving, thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad you did. I'll see you in about 2 weeks. I'll call the giveaway winners, and hopefully I'll have some fully finished projects to share. Bye now. Take care. Okay, for those of you that are still here, I'm going to stand up because I have a big pile leaning against the wall here. So because she asked for scarves first, I'll show you the scarves. And these are scarves that I made for all family members, like for Christmas one year. One of them was this big, and they were in different colors. One was like black and gray, one this gray and white. There were blue, 2 different shades of blue. I mean, there were different colors. I used different colors. And yes, this is knitted, and I do not block. I don't block anything. That's probably part of my problem. But this was mine, and I let everybody else choose their colors. And I made it on these needles. These are size 50 US needles. And I don't remember if the pattern, I don't know where I got the pattern, if it was online or if it was on the wrapper of the fabric. So that's the first one. Then I had mentioned I used eyelash and made scarves. Eyelash wool, yarn, eyelash yarn. And this is what the eyelash looked like. Now, I made mine a little bit different. First of all, I stitched it on circular needles. So I put on all these stitches on a circular needle. And mine had yarn and then the eyelash and then yarn again. Everybody else's was just eyelash, and they loved it. And again, all different colors, black. I made one for my sister-in-law, and I don't know if I made her black, and she asked for one in white. So then I made her a second one, because it was the style then. And then you can almost like double it like this and wear it under your coat. And this is one of my warmest scarves, to be honest. And I think maybe because this outside yarn is wool. So yeah, I just love this one. I still wear it occasionally. Depends what coat I'm wearing. Then when I was still working at the high school, there was, what is it called? I should remember this. She taught cooking. And she's not the cooking teacher, it's the fine arts. She was part of fine arts, I believe. Home ec. That's it. Home ec. She showed me this stitch, and I did it, but I can't, for the life of me, I just can't remember it. And this is basically like a cowl. And then you stick in a hat pin. Like that. So, another warm one. A little bit more formal, I think. Like with a black coat would be nice. Then I just stitched this next one. I don't know. It's just, I like the colors together. So it could either be like that, or it could be like one of these, one of those. So those are some of the scarves that I made over the years. I was knitting a lot when I was working because it's very portable, it's easy. Either I went into one of the faculty rooms after lunch and for the rest of my lunch hour, and I would work there. And then I made this top. I made this little sweater, short sleeves, some cabling in the back. I made this top. This is the second time I made it. The first time I made it was with the proper yarn, and it was a cotton. And I brought it to Italy with me one year when we went, and my cousin loved it. So what do you do when somebody loves something you have? You give it to them. So I gave it to her. And when I came back, I said, I can make another one. I went to this yarn store. It was actually a yarn store, and I asked for this certain brand yarn. And she goes, oh, we don't carry them anymore. So I probably could have gone online, but I was not a big online shopper then. So I said, I'll pick something else out. So I picked this yarn out. And of course, it's the wrong type of yarn. It's very stretchy. Yeah. And I redid it, but I would have to wear like some kind of undershirt under here, because actually you can't tell now, but it comes a little bit too low here. And, you know, it would be nicer to have a coverage there, but it's kind of stretchy. So I did not pick the correct fabric. And these are ways that they asked to decrease. And it was in the other pattern, you know, the first one I did too. They were noticeable, and I didn't understand why they would do that, but yeah. So I have never worn that. Then I did, I had shown well, I'm giving the sweater to Gianna, a little sweater that I showed, I don't know if it was last video, a couple of videos ago. It's all done on circular needles, and it's all one piece. You don't have to sew in anything together. So they had an adult version of it as well. And basically you started at the collar and you worked down. And then when you got to a certain section, you put certain stitches on waste yarn or a needle of some sort. And then after you finish the body, you go back and pick it up, and then you work the sleeve. So, let's see, here's the buttons. Nothing fancy, but something I stitched. And then I went to another yarn store. It wasn't very close to home. I would say it's about a good hour away. And I showed a pattern that I wanted to do, and they suggested this yarn, and I did it. And it's a 3/4 sleeve. And when you stitched it all, and then at the end you had to pick up stitches along here to do this section in here. Well, I didn't like the way it was, like they were picked up. I don't know which is front, which is back. They're identical. So what I did was I did some beading. I put in some, you can't see this. Let me see here. I did, I guess, like a pearl, and then 2 side beads in and out of the holes to try to make it look better. And this is my knitting. Sometimes successful, most times. Anyway, thank you so much for staying and checking everything out with me. And I'm so sorry that I keep touching the table. I think I'm going to have to, I moved things around in here so that I can get different angles for videotaping. I think next time, maybe there's a table here. It's a mess. So I won't show it to you. Maybe that I can put the camera there and stand in front of it, and then I have to put something here for some eye candy, or I can position it here. See, the thing is I have a window here and a window there, so I'm afraid if I put the window behind me, it won't be good lighting. The light has to come from in front. or I have to put the computer on something more stable so that I don't shake it every time I touch the table. And most people are probably thinking, it's okay. And then there's some that really don't like it. So, sorry. Not sorry. It's an accident. All right, guys, I think I've taken your ears to the max with my voice. And have a great end of January. February will be right around the corner. I have a virtual call with my doctor. I had a bone density test done. I think I shared that with you, that I was going for it. And I don't think she likes what she saw, because I had to schedule a virtual appointment with her. And I also have a cardiologist appointment of all days on February 14th. And then I got called for jury duty. So since I watch my grandchildren, I'm going to see if I can be excused this time. I mean, I'm called every 3 years like clockwork. And I always go. I go and do what I have to do. But now that it's a little more difficult for everybody, and that I'm watching children, I'm hoping I can get it excused this time. But if I don't, I have to do what I have to do. I'll keep you posted. And on that note, have a great rest of the month. Have a great beginning to February. I hope you are well and happy. And take some time for you as well. Take care, guys. Love you. Mwah.